Welcome, guys, to another episode of Blockchain Brew Show. We got the Brew Crew in the house. We got me, T Square, and Mr. Trent right here. We're going to introduce you guys to a whole bunch of crazy news that you guys haven't heard about from us yet. So we're going to cover the tariff news and why crypto's crashing and what to expect. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go into some TA and, of course, what do we find today in the garbage? Because everybody loves that segment. Anyways, before I get talking about my beer, don't forget to smash that like. Smash it real good. Bam. We got to get the gold thumb in the house. We got to get the bell too. Bam, 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 bam. Ring a ring a ring. Hit the bell to subscribe. It's in both of these corners. So check them out. And we're going to get going on some beer.
I have an important question for you, Tyler, before you crack that.
What?
Do you like my hoodie?
It's not my favorite. I don't not like it that well. If that unless confuses you less. We kind of I like her original music. The good stuff, not the modern poo-poo. She went away from her roots. She's no longer country. Facts.
Yeah.
She's more pop, and nobody likes pop except you. Anywho, what I got today is I'm bringing you another Triple Horn Brewery. This is an Indian Session Ale. Now, I've never had one of these. I don't know what to expect. It is 4.9%, which is significantly lighter than what I normally drink. But I had to try it because I never tried it. So this what we got on the show to try for you. I got my Lotro mug, freshly grabbed out of said freezer. And I'm going to pop this can open and we'll see what we got going for us. That was a good pop. It does kind of smell like a IPA. I'll see if I pull in front of the camera. I wish I had to get this adjustment right. Ready?
I'm ready.
It looks kind of like an IPA. The color, it actually almost looks kind of like a little darker than the way I normally.
Looks like a West Coast, yeah, or even just like a pale ale.
Yeah, perfect. I'm getting better at this. There's the head right there at the top. Get the aroma coming through nice and strong. This actually kind of makes me feel like I belong in Hobbiton, the Shire. But there's no Taylor Swift around. There's a lot of head. I thought I would get through if I kept drinking the foam. Foam's
too much for
drinking. Yeah, too light. Piney. Taste is piney. I'm getting a little bit of the citrus aftertaste kind of flowing in. Yeah, not too bad. I'll let you know as I kind of get going on this beer because it had a pretty good like punch to it. I do like that. I do like getting hit in the face. Not with the head though. For the flavor. It has to be flavor. What do you got for us today, Trent?
Well, today I am bringing back Foggier Window from Monkish Brewing. One day I need to go do a phone record from Monkish. Actually, what I need to do is I need to go around to, I need to make 3 stops in Anaheim. I need to go to Monkish. I need to go to Windsor's Homebrew Supply. And then I need to go to Bottle Logic and record a little piece from each place and then snip it together and put up a video.
Put up a video from each place. It's what we like to do.
So, bringing back the foggier window. This is I have a couple 4-packs of these, so I need to go through them. This is the one that I was saying is it's orange juice. It's like it just hits you with orange peel, orange pulp, orange juice, just everything about an orange with maybe a little bit of pine and green forward notes that come behind it. But, other than that, it's, an orange in a brew.
I dare you, or actually, not dare you. It actually might be a good idea to add like a tablespoon or a teaspoon of raw maple sugar to it, like straight, like that bitter, almost dry sweetness to it. Hey,
will
you
not
can't
be
knock it
doing
till you don't
that.
try it. You can't say that. Have you tried it?
I didn't knock it. I just said I won't be doing that.
Yeah, you never say never. You said you try anything one time.
Well, except for that. Monkish goes to great lengths to perfect their recipes. They don't need me ruining it by doing that.
I don't think you'd ruin it.
Well, anyways,
Anyway,
on to the market overview.
yes. You want me to send you the annual returns for Bitcoin on my screen?
Yeah.
Or do you want to go over charts first?
No, yeah, go for that and I'll pop you up.
Okay. Share
Smash
screen.
the like button if you want to see month by month the best annual returns for Bitcoin by month.
Boom. Here we go, guys. I was scrolling through the list. Where are we at? So, oh wait, this isn't it, is it? Nope, this is the other section. Whoops. I pulled up the wrong section, Trent. Timeout, freeze. Don't look at that one. That was the next segment. That was an overreaction. This is the one I meant to share. I was like, wait a minute.
Or was it an underreaction?
I was like, I'm confused. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're in the Bitcoin monthly returns. And you could also say quarterly returns, but I wasn't expecting to look at that one. So, where did Trent go? Trent, you just disappeared on me.
I'm right here.
You definitely went invisible for like 2 seconds.
So did you. I was just clicking around.
So we are in the month of April now. And traditionally, we have a really pretty solid. Okay, I was like, wait, I can't scroll all the way over. Traditionally, we have a pretty solid April at an average of 12% gain for Bitcoin. But that's kind of an unfair thing to say, an average of 12%, because in the market cycle, you got 2 years, you're kind of in the bear market, and like 1 year come up and 1 year euphoria. But where am I at? 4 years ago in 2021. Actually, it's interesting, Trent. 2021, we didn't do super hot, only 2%.
Yeah.
Negative. But in the previous bull run before that, we go back 4 years to 2017, and we gained 32%, which is a pretty solid overall number compared to all these. We got 32. May usually is typically up 52%. And then we got 65% August. What did I say? Wait, what am I doing? I totally lost track what I was looking at. I was looking at overall averages of months. I mean, it's not that. I mean, April's not that bad, actually. We got 38, 53, 47, 65, 32, 52. What am I doing, Trent? I am all over the map. No, that 4%, I don't know what is 4.5%. I don't know what was in there. I'm totally lost, man. I think I started out like looking at April, and then I was trying to go the average like monthly like gains, and then I got sidetracked and like I was looking at April or not.
Well,
Regardless,
yeah.
we usually gain about 30%. in a typical bull run. Okay, minus this last one.
Yeah.
So, and we're already up technically a little bit. So let's go. We need to gain another 30%. And where would that take us, Trent? If 30 Bitcoin gains 30%.
Ooh, well, I don't have a phone on me to do the math on, but if Bitcoin, let's just say 80K for easy math. If
I'll say 90K for easy math. 30%.
Well, no, we're at, I mean 30. No. I mean from right here, like let's say 80K for easy math. If you gain 10%, that's $8,000. So what's 8 times 3 to get 30%? That's $24,000. It's putting you at about 104,000. So I mean, uh, it's not irrational at all to think that April alone could get us back to the $104,000 range. And if it does, then we're looking at maybe May taking us over the all-time highs, which I do think we're going to see. I do think that we're going to see a May all-time high for Bitcoin. Could even be the end of April. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah.
Well, I think it's different about this bull run is if you look at the quarters, typically the bull run starts in like you get October, November, December, and then it cools off for like a month or two, and then it shoots up again. And that's what you see when you look at this 160% in 2021. Then you get 18%, 31%, 22% as you progress in the quarters. And then same with 2017, which is kind of a funky one because Bitcoin went totally crazy, 518%. 450%, and then it kind of starts kind of tipping off and shoots up one more time in quarter four.
Yeah.
And right now, we start off with one of the worst quarters we've ever had. I mean, look at that. We're only % off from 2018, which is like supposed to be the bear market, leading into it, with leading 15% compared to you got these 100, 102, and 453% in between it, and then it just massively drops off. It's almost like this is kind of going backwards, where you're going to have the 2 red, and then you're going to have the 2 green. Yeah, see, it's like, well, maybe not quite. I was thinking of 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Regardless, I do expect to see some crazy moves, and I do not believe the top is in.
Right. Well, I kind of want to talk about the tariffs a little bit. And, I believe the title of our stream tonight is exactly how crypto goes back up. Trump tariffs can't kill the 2025 Bitcoin bull run. And I want to show you guys something interesting that I was looking at today. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to come over here to Twitter.
Do you have the...
There we go. And
Yeah, it's a...
Look at this tweet right here. I don't know how well you can read it. Oh yeah, you can read. What should I comment on this tweet? I'm gonna leave it up to the Brew Crew.
see it in full
It says
screen.
Trump's tariff formula is further evidence that he is laser focused on reversing these imbalances. The problem for treasuries is that without money exports, foreigners can't buy bonds. The Fed and banking system must step up to ensure a well-functioning treasury market, which means I can't make the money printer sound. But it means the money printer's coming back on. So yeah, what should I comment under this post?
Well, so
I need something good.
Another thing to think about too, as well, is Scott Bassett said today, because people are mad about the whole stock market crash and crypto crash. They're like, oh, because crypto kind of follows stocks, right? So they're like, oh, why would you announce the tariffs? You bring in more bad news. Well, guess actually what really happened. Scott Bassett said the 7 Meg 7 came out, which is the 7 big companies: Google, Amazon, Microsoft, the top 7 companies. they're the ones that actually dumped some of their stocks. And he said it could either because they were over evaluated or because they were overvaluated, or they're the ones that are going to be affected the most with the tariffs, or whatever verbiage he used. And so you think about it, I mean, a lot of tech stocks are inflated and overvaluated. So, and it's interesting that they're the ones that didn't vote for Trump, are the ones that are dumping their stocks. So that's something to also take in consideration, as well as they were saying we had to do the tariffs. We didn't really have an option. Yes, you could say it sucks. I don't view it that way because I see discount prices on everything and I see opportunity for America as well. We can't just keep running the money printers forever, guys. And we've given our wealth away to all these countries by bailing them out. I mean, I'm about to go over this tariff list with Trent. And I haven't even heard of half these countries that were charging us to do business for us, and we weren't doing anything in return, which is crazy because you think, it's almost like, I don't know, like I want to say like the cool kid in school, to get somebody's attention, you have to go do something. You can't just ghost in the shadows, you'll never be noticed. And so I just think that's kind of obscene that they're freaking out about these tariffs, as well as the tariffs. We're still giving them a break. They're not, half of them aren't even freaking up to the level that they're charging us.
Yeah.
Because we don't, and a lot of these people are our allies, and we're kind of saying, hey, just here's a first step. We're probably going to move it up again, but we're being friendly and letting you know an FYI, so you kind of can adjust your whole ecosystem to this.
Well, and for any newcomers, the reason that we're talking about this is because the tariffs are the thing. Trump's tariffs are the thing that is causing some fear in the market right now. The highest price that Bitcoin reached all year was on inauguration day at $109,000. He started talking, really hard about tariffs on other countries, and people started to become really fearful and really worried about a market meltdown because of recession and because of the potential economic impacts of the tariffs. So that's the reason we've been seeing red in the market, and that's why we're addressing it on here on the stream. Do you want to show what you were going to show? Or?
Yeah. Go ahead and share my screen.
Go ahead and show it, and then I'm going to come back to this tweet after.
I think I did.
I'm putting you up right now. Yeah. Let me remove and then go ahead.
Okay, so these are Trump's new updated tariffs he just came out with yesterday. So Algeria charges us 59%, and we're charging them 30%. Andorra, I think I've never heard of this country. They charge us, Andorra. They charge us 10%. We charge them 10%. Angola charges us 63%. We charge them 32%. And Anguilla, they did 10. We're doing 10 now. Antigua and Bermuda, they charged us 10, so we're charging them 10. And we'll kind of scroll through some of these that are 10, 10, 10, 10, 10s. But like Bangladesh, it was charging us 74%. Like, that's crazy. So we decided to charge them 37%. We could still double it and be fair. Like, just think about that, okay? So, and then you got Bosnia, charges us 70%. We're doing 35%. Botswana charges 74%, 37%. And think about these guys. These countries I haven't even heard of Botswana, and why they charging us so much. If they want to go sit at the table and be with the U.S., they should be almost giving us like free import, not charging us, to get yourself on the net map. Hey, we're the good guy. Won't do anything. We won't charge you guys at all. You could come to the table. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, well, no one does business that way.
I know. Where was I at? Bosnia, Botswana, Brazil, British Columbia, British Virgin Islands. How do you say this?
Brunei? I don't know.
Brunei, yeah. I don't know, man. That's crazy. Cambodia is charging us 97%.
Dang.
Ew, that's crazy. We're only charging Cambodia 47%. How about this one? Falkland Islands. Falcon. Falkland Islands. I've never heard of Falkland Islands, man. Or is Swantini? Eritrea? Eritrea? Dude, like I'm telling you, dude, like I can't believe some of these places are charging us. Now Iraq was charging us 78%. So we're charging 39. That was kind of surprising. That's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And we were just had our military down there in both these countries, trying to help them.
Right. Right.
That's just kind of wild, Talk about trade advantage. 95% for Laos. Where's Laos at? Is that near Italy?
I'm pretty sure it's in Southern Asia. No.
I don't know. 99% charge for Lesotho. Look, this is some of the things like Liechtenstein. I'm like, this has to be near.
Liechtenstein.
Yeah, like
They're big. They're big in crypto. LCX, the Liechtenstein exchange.
It's just kind of crazy to us guys that these other countries think they could charge us this much and think that it's being fair. Clearly we're being ripped off. But at the same time, some of these people are our allies, and we don't mind giving them money.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna give it to you, just ask for it rather than charge us.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't seem right. It's like your friend who needs $1. You don't get you don't be like, hey, buy me a Coke, I'll give you $2. That just doesn't quite make sense to me. And usually when you give it money to somebody, you give it not expecting it back.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go back to this tweet over here. Back
what do you got to say to it?
Huh?
What are you gonna say?
I don't know yet. But back in I want to say September. Yeah, that's right. Back in September of last year, I wrote a script for a YouTuber who I'm not going to name right now. And the script was, what's the lowest price that Bitcoin will reach in 2025? And the price that I came up with was a little bit under $83,000. So that's, I was off a little bit. We went down to 77, maybe 76.8 or something on some exchanges. But it's not too far off. I think I did pretty good on that one. Given the fact that in September we went down to what, $49,000? And I wrote a script that said that the lowest price we were gonna see in 2025 was 82 something. I think I was doing some good moon math on that one. Even though I was off a little bit, you're always going to be off. Trying to project things like that. But I think I did pretty good on that one. Anyways, so Arthur Hayes. Do you know who Arthur Hayes is?
Familiar with the name.
Yeah, so he launched an exchange.
Arthur Hayes.
Arthur Hayes. He he launched an exchange called BitMEX or something. I think.
Oh yeah.
2014, and he was a crypto billionaire by age 30.
Wow.
This is because of the sheer amount of Bitcoin. That's crazy. Those early Bitcoin mining days, the amount of money that people have it's just lost out in the time-space continuum somewhere because people don't have their seed phrases. Anyways, Arthur Hayes was saying this about Trump's tariffs. I'm gonna scroll up because he had another one I want us to see. Here he is saying, some of y'all are running scared, but I love tariffs. Some chart porn to understand why. Mm-hmm. Global imbalances will be corrected, and the pain papered over with printed money, which is good for Bitcoin. So here's my analogy to help you guys understand what's going on here. Okay. I want you to imagine that the US is like a kid who loves buying toys from other kids, right? These other kids would be other countries. But the US doesn't sell as many of its own toys back to those other countries. Right? So the United States is like a kid buying these toys from other kids, but it's not selling as many toys back to those kids. That means that the US is spending more money than it's earning from trade. From global from the global trade system, the United States is spending more money than it's earning. Why? Because of what Tyler just showed you, that we are charging other countries less for our products than they are charging us. Right? And this creates kind of a money gap. And this gap is shown in the chart that's in the post right here. And it's called the current account deficit. In other words, it's a money gap. What we're spending in trade versus what we're making in trade. Okay. And it's been growing for a long time, especially since the 1980s.
Yes.
This chart also shows another line. It's the financial account, which
Can you
tracks
expand the
how
chart?
I can try. Um, yeah, there you go.
Usually click on it, you can blow it up.
Got you. And so this chart also shows another line. It's the financial account line, which tracks how much money the U.S. borrows or gets from other countries to cover that money gap that's created from the trade imbalance. Um, Around 2020, this borrowing gap dropped a lot because the global events like the pandemic were making the money gap even worse. Now the US has a new leader, Trump, who started something called tariffs. Well, I mean, he didn't originate tariffs, but he did say that tariff is the most beautiful word in the English language, which whatever. Tariffs are like extra fees that the US charges. Remember the kid is buying toys from other countries. It's like this kid is charging an extra fee on the toys that it's selling, right? The US is charging extra fees on the goods that other countries buy.
It's almost
And
like going to a nice restaurant and getting charged gratuity, even though just
yeah,
because you're at a nice restaurant, you know what I mean?
right.
America is a nice restaurant.
Right. And Trump's idea is to make those toys more expensive so that people in the US will buy more American made stuff instead. And this could help close the money gap. The tariffs are pretty big, 10% on everything and up to 50% on some countries. As announced on April 2nd, um, the tricky part here is that other countries usually use the dollars that they earn from selling their goods in order to buy US Treasury bonds. And these bonds are like IOUs that the US gives out to borrow money. If other countries sell less to the US because of tariffs, they'll have fewer dollars to buy those bonds. This could make it harder for the United States to borrow money, which it needs to keep things running smoothly. So, there's the problem, guys. The problem compounds. Not only is there a money gap, we're not making as much on trade as we're spending on trade. These other countries are getting charged more on their imports to the US, and because they're getting charged more, it makes them not want to buy US Treasury bonds, which we want them buying because so the way that we uh, have historically made up for that gap is by borrowing money from other countries, right? The multi-trillion dollar US deficit, right? Well, now these countries don't want to lend money because they're getting charged on tariffs. So the point that Arthur Hayes is making here is that if this happens, the US bank called the Federal Reserve will have to step in. The Fed might start printing money, as Arthur Hayes says, "Burr" in the comments. It's the money printer sound. I can't make it, but it's the sound of a money printer. To the Federal Reserve will probably
Wait, were you saying burr?
yeah, yeah,
The
right, yeah, exactly.
It's okay. Sarah can't do it either. She goes
Yeah.
grrr. You guys are close.
So that's going to be, we talked about this the other day, right? The Federal Reserve, the answer to a recession in the mind of the Federal Reserve is always to print more money, right? That's always the answer for the Federal Reserve. Now, specifically because of the tariff issue, we're not making as much money in global trade as we're spending, and money is harder to borrow. And so what's the only alternative now? The Federal Reserve is going to be forced to the Federal Reserve is going to be forced to print money. We're going to move from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is when we inject artificial money, printed money into the economy. Quantitative easing is like what's happened with, the rate cuts for 2022 and 2023, where it makes money harder to acquire. And the thing is, the last altcoin season, if you track with Benjamin Cowan at all, he will insist that we actually will not see an altcoin season until quantitative easing resumes. He'll say that we will not see and I don't entirely agree with this, but I mean, Benjamin Cowan has a PhD in like engineering. Who am I to, who am I? But I don't entirely agree with that. But, you know, history does show that altcoin seasons coincide with periods of money printing or periods of quantitative easing. Now, do I think that if we don't get quantitative easing, that the cycle will still play out and Bitcoin dominance will still have a breakdown and altcoins will still pump? I do think so. I just think that it will be not as dramatic if we don't get money printing, if we don't get a loosening of United States economic policy. But the point that Arthur Hayes is making right here is that the only way to close this gap is for this money gap is for the Federal Reserve to be forced back into printing money. And guys, I think that's exactly what we're going to see. I think that the first sign is going to be
ETH going up.
rate cuts. And well, yeah, ETH going up, right? But the first sign is going to be rate cuts.
I agree.
And did I say rate cuts earlier? 2022, 20? I meant rate hikes. But right now we're going to see interest rate cuts.
Well, Jerome Powell said already at least 2 more.
Yeah,
At least
right.
this year.
Right. But this time it's going to come along with the money printer coming back on. So guys, the tariffs are just another the tariffs mixed with fears of recession are going to cause quantitative easing to come back, and then it will come true again that the next altcoin season will probably be coinciding with another period of money printing. So that's what I see, and I see it happening from May probably through, let's say, June, July. We might see a cool off, and then another rate cut maybe in quarter 4 with more money printing, and we have one last pump in quarter 4. So,
And that
what do
get it
you
all
think,
out,
Bill?
man. Are you ready to move into some TA?
Yeah. Yeah.
TA. By the way, I was listening to Jason Casper today, and someone asked him an interesting question because we went over it just recently as well. Maybe it was you. And they asked him Bitcoin dominance. They said it looks like it's just about to pop. And so he went and looked at Bitcoin dominance too. And he said, man, it's really looking close. And he was thinking that it could drop 50% when it's going to pop.
Wow.
So, I mean, think about that. 50% Bitcoin dominance. That's a lot of green going into the alts.
Well, like in the last cycle, Bitcoin dominance got down to like 39%. And so in theory, it should go lower this time. Because each time it doesn't get quite as high and its lows are always a little bit lower because there's always new altcoins being made and there's always more capital flowing into altcoins. I mean, for one brief period in a 4-year cycle.
Oh no, Bitcoin's dropping so fast. You see that? Oh, wait a minute. I'm on the 1 second. He probably shouldn't be on the 1 second trying to do TA.
Hey, I'm looking to put $1,000 into a long position on ADA, so
What you're saying is we should look at ADA?
I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Not yet. Go ahead and look at Bitcoin first.
Okay, well, Bitcoin. Well, I could tell you right now, this almost looks like a cup and handle. You got the big old cup coming down
Yeah.
with the handle. Whoop. That's
Yeah.
the first thing that my eyes see right off the bat. And then from the handle, you measure the top of the cup to the bottom. Click. That puts that at 84. I think it would actually go higher than that. I'm pretty sure if we broke this bar of support or resistance, yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll probably jump up to like right around here. That's what I think. Maybe I don't know anything. I don't know. That's just what I see instantly off the bat.
No, that looks like a cup and handle to me for sure.
Yeah, man. And this kind of looks like an inverted head and shoulders that broke out to the upside.
Yeah.
So you got that right there. Or what did I say the other day when it flips, flops for like 4 times and it breaks out?
Yeah.
Well, on just immediately when I come to this chart, it's kind of confusing that looking at the other time frames is that we get oversold up in here, and so it's kind of cool off, but the money flow is still in the red, which it's right on that line where it's kind of difficult to predict because if it was green, you could say, well, we're projected to go up. But if it's red, you're probably going to go a little bit more down. But it's like it's been cooling off. I don't know. Let's take a look into the time frame. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. Maybe we'll get some more clarity. I'm going to say we will be coming down for at least a little longer. At least for a little longer. Maybe we'll come down to like right here and form another cup and handle in the 30-minute before we decide. The little red's a little thicker. We got the VWAP also a little thicker. And the market size SR, I think it's actually starting to turn a little bit bullish because you got the first line right here turning blue, maybe the second line with a little bit of gray. Usually also as this gets tighter is usually when it gets ready to pop. So you can see right here, we got super, super tight and we shot out. So as we're getting down right here, we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So we could see something on the 30-minute, the 1 hour. Now right here, this is almost looking like a bearish sign because you can say anchor wave to a trigger wave. If this turns into a red dot, I wouldn't feel super confident about it on the 1 hour. Yeah, but I guess that's more convergence than divergence. I don't know. That looks like not super great to me. Does not look super great, but the 2 hour. It's always interesting when you jump through the time frames how they contradict each other a little bit. Like, well, then we'll go down for like 1-2 hours, and then the 2 hour says once that's done, then it'll flip to the bullish. And then we got a green dot on the 2 hour with money flow coming in and the VWAP on our side. So it looks like in the longer time frame and the 3 hours also saying we have more room to upside. So it could just maybe be overnight. We'll have some red over the night. We'll wake up and we're going to start probably the day off going green. That's what
Yeah.
it's kind of looking like. Even the 4 hours saying it's money flow is red, but we are almost completely curved over with 45 minutes left on the candle. And we also are getting an anchor wave right here. It hasn't fully confirmed yet, but you got the anchor wave coming into a trigger wave. That is some positiveness.
Okay, so this is on Market Cipher, which again for newcomers, this is a paid indicator. You pay for this indicator to help you kind of see where the charts are going. Can you explain a little bit about anchor wave and trigger wave and what you mean by that?
Yes and no.
Just
Yes,
for anyone that might be super new to it.
yes and no. Okay, well, let me see if I can expand this so you guys can see it better. So an anchor wave is usually a large blue oscillator wave that comes down. It doesn't necessarily have to come down and pass these single lines right here, but typically they do. And you get two little green dots, like that's annoying that those right there. A green dot right here, and a green dot right there. They call that snake eyes, and that usually marks a bottom. So we had the first one down here with this wick saying that also marks a bottom. And we had another wick right here just below these ones because the red selling on the daily time frame I'm on, saying that we're probably getting close to the bottom.
It's actually showing
Now,
you bullish divergence.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And we got some. What was my paint tool? We have some divergence coming down like this. We got anchor wave, and looks like it's forming a trigger wave on the daily time frame, as you can see right here. But this has not fully formed its hump yet, so it's hard to say if that will become. Though it is
Hump.
likely, I think we will come. So yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't see the bullish divergence as much as I see the anchor wave trigger wave because it's bottom to bottom for the divergence, and you can clearly see that these candles are going up, so it's literally up and up. You see what I'm saying? At least right
Yes.
here. Now, maybe I'm just not seeing it. Oops, my bad. Drew again. Give me my grabby tool. Grabby. But I mean, like I said, I mean the red, it's starting to thin out. We can see some more bullishness coming, and the numbers right here are usually like a battle between the bulls and the bears. The bear numbers are on the bottom. I mean, on the tops. My bad. And the bull numbers are on the bottom.
Yeah.
So
Let, again, let's not, because I had a friend reach out to me about this. Let's not, and he said that he shared some of our stuff with a buddy of his, um, and they said that they're new to it and some stuff is going over their head. So let's not imagine that everybody out there even knows what bulls and bears are, right?
bulls are people who are pushing the price up. Bears are pushing the price down by selling their Bitcoin, not believing in it, or because they think it's going to go down. They're trying to make money on it, and vice versa with the bulls. They're buying because they think the price is going to go up, and they want to sell at a later point in time.
Yeah. And so bullish, like with the horns, bullish means price goes up.
Yeah,
Bearish means price goes down.
yeah, and you can usually with these pink and yellow dots, you could typically. That's like market cipher SR, and I don't have it adjusted correctly at the second, and so I'm not going to adjust that. So just ignore those. And so, like right here, you gotta. I wonder if the paint tool will change the crosshairs. Nope. So we got a 6 right here, and a 17 and an 18, saying that the bulls are pushing the price up, which ends up happening because then you got like a 6 and a 4, but then you get a 13, 18, 16, 12, saying that hey, we're pushing the price up. And -5, honestly, because it's negative means that's where the least amount of resistance is. So you could say that the two -5s right here, the bears lost that battle. And the numbers indicate not necessarily that candle, but it indicates the next candle is likely to be green or red. And a candle is these right here. That's a single red candle right there, because trying to break it down, and you could go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles, and these little tails are called wicks. And the particular candle I'm using, they use an average of the price of the previous candle and how they make their body. They're a little bit different than the typical candle, but I do think that they make the chart a lot smoother to read. I'll show you. For example, I'm using Hikanashi candles because I think it just helps my eyes see the patterns. So this is Hikanashi, and this is regular candles. So it's not crazy, but when you look at it, it's kind of hard to read the up and down, up and down, up and down. There's a lot going on. So when you switch to Hikanashi candles, it kind of smooths it out and makes it have more of a flow for your eyes to process and digest.
Right.
And you know
Okay.
what I learned today? Actually, I didn't know this. I was listening to one of the videos on Market Cipher. I knew blue triangles represented a trend reversal of the previous trend, so it's representing it's probably going to this red, but it obviously doesn't look like it played out because we had a red diamond right here. Or it's still in the process of playing out, because I'm trying to see if I can show you this. There's like a little tiny blue wave back here, and I just found out that when the Market Cipher SR, one of these lines turn blue, it points into a blue triangle saying that, hey, this grayed out wave is starting to turn bullish by one of these lines flipping. Now, if you get all 5 of them turning bullish, like, where is it at? When they first do it, let me see if I can find it. Right here, all 5 of them turn bullish, they form green dots, saying, get ready to everything's going the right way. We could see a massive run. That doesn't mean we will, we can.
Yeah.
And so here's another green dot, like it's saying we can. And then you kind of match it up with the green waves that's saying money flow is coming in. And you got the green dot saying this is a good time to entry. That looks like the oscillators are waving to get in. And by the way, they indicate upward momentum. They don't tell you where it ends. So you got to learn to take your profit. So if you bought in right here, I'm just going to point with my finger. Where's the paint pen? If you bought in on, like, for instance, this green dot right here, that would have taken you entry point on this green candle right over here. So then you could have rode that up, saw the red dot right here, and got out. And then it says there's another entry point right here, this green dot. It's saying with the money flow being green, possibly think about it with the oscillator wave turning into itself. Well, then you go over with this line. It's saying buy right here, get in right here. And then you would have had a green dot, which would have gave you momentum to the upside. And then you could have rode that till you got this little red dot right here. And you knew with the blue wave and this red dot curving inwards on itself that it's probably going to cool off for a second, maybe get out of the way, which would have been the correct move, because then if you waited, I'm on the daily, so if you waited literally a week, you would have got another second red dot to give you confirmation and an X saying downward momentum is coming, and you could have rode this wave down here all the way down to this green dot, which this green dot would not have played out. I mean, I guess you can kind of say it could have. If you could have timed it right, you could have got money, but you probably would have broke even or lost money. As well as you can see the wave SR is turning silhouette, which is the loss of momentum. So more likely you could have said with the silhouette on the wave that this green dot is a false implication. So it's a lot of it is learning how to digest and read Market Cipher, and there are a lot of different ways of doing it. As I'm going through a lot of the courses right now and trying to understand how to do it, a lot of people say that they use it and they apply it to themselves and they have all these indications, but then they set their rules and philosophies and apply it to Market Cipher. Market Cipher is just an overlay to help digest it. You are the master of how to use the tool. It's kind of like a chisel, you know, it has a lot of uses. Most people kind of break something off, but you could also use it like if you wanted to, like on a lathe and carve a piece of wood. Like it's you have to figure out how to use that tool.
Yes. Well, if that's all you have for the moment, I still need to respond to our boy Arthur Hayes. What am I gonna write?
You're gonna write that Bitcoin's in an inverted head and shoulders, and it's gonna go to the upside in like a week.
I want to be a troll though.
Then say, well, you're gonna say something smirky?
Yeah.
You should say, here's a Bitcoin, have a beer on me. Here's a Cardano. It's almost worthless. Go buy a beer for 70 cents. Here, tell him you're a Swiftie and that you feel bad for him. He'll know what to do.
Why do I feel bad for him? Because I'm a Swiftie.
Let him figure it out. You don't explain yourself to people you don't know.
I'm gonna say bullish on Taylor Swift.
That's not a troll move. That's just making you gloat about your Swiftie influence. Get out of here. That's not a troll move. I thought you were really gonna troll him.
What?
Should have said something smirky about 8 Cardano. You should have been like, you like your Bitcoin, you should have gotten in Cardano when it was like 1,000th of a penny.
Next time. I'll do better next time.
Man. What do you got for us? What's our next segment?
Do we have any garbage finds?
Oh, I do. Okay, I have to go get it because I brought it in the house, but I forgot.
While Tyler goes and gets it, I'll keep looking at these comments.
Yeah, that 4% hits you pretty hard.
Let me ask Grok. Grok's going to explain the post, actually. This is if you have Grok 3, you have to be a premium member on X to get this. Anyways, I'm going to ask Grok, how should I respond to this post?
I'm back. Did you miss me?
Yeah.
You want me to flash you?
No.
With what I got.
Don't do that. Hold on, I'm talking to Grok real quick.
What'd you ask Grok? How to troll Arthur Hayes better than a Swiftie?
Yeah, how to respond to this post, and Grok's giving me a PhD dissertation. So I'm actually going to say I want to comment something true. Funny, yeah.
Witty, funny, and smart.
I want to
and good
be
looking.
a troll
Grok has
when I grow up.
Thinking, processing. Since you want to comment something funny, human trolling, it's also LMAO, the troll, personal by joking. A few notes. I can't say. Just pick one. Pick them all. You should be like, here, Arthur Hayes. I can't figure out which one I want to pick from. Like they all fit your narrative. Which one?
I'm just gonna do it. Bam! Right here on the Brew Crew.
Which one did you pick?
Well, this one.
Which one's that?
This one. That one.
Got it.
Guys, I'm gonna learn how to be a better troll here on live on the Brew Crew. I'm going to go to troll school.
Why do you
and
have
I'm
to
gonna
learn that?
graduate. I don't know.
Why?
I don't normally troll comment sections.
Well, you should.
Why?
No, I asked you why.
Well, I don't know. I thought it would be a fun thing to do.
I feel like you should give a good, better reason.
No.
No, you should.
Yeah.
I'm just trolling you, Trent.
All right, what did we find in the garbage?
You have to give at least one guess. I mean, that's just naming the game.
True.
I have to do the hard work, so you should at least be able to do the fun work. You know how awkward it is to bring stuff, and people are like, "Hey, it's that guy. He always has stuff." He must be a hoarder. I'm like, I'm few and in between.
I'm gonna say,
it's a book.
Oh, I was gonna guess.
Yeah, I know, but you can still guess.
Is it a Bible?
No.
Oh, yeah, you never know.
That's a bad guess. You should guess again, just for making a bad guess like that. I take it back. It's a Taylor Swift book.
Is it really?
No.
Oh.
That's funny. I dumped out a can and I was like, dude, I saw a bunch of books come out. I was like, I just want to take a look. All right, here you go. Here it is. Fred Trump. All in the family.
Who the heck is Fred Trump?
That's his dad.
Is it really?
Yeah, his dad's a stud, man. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. I was listening to during one of Trump's rallies, this guy, he was in private school with Donald Trump, and this is when they were kids, right? So they're way in their 70s now, and his dad passed away at work. And Fred Trump came knocking on the door like the next day, or I don't know, a week later or whenever, and he goes, I really don't want your son to go into the public school district because I don't want to see anything happen to him. And so his dad, Fred Trump, paid for this man's entire private school all the way up and through college out of his own pocket. Dude, his dad's a stud, bro. Why do you think Trump's a stud?
That's wild.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with it? You gonna read it?
No, but I was like scrolling through it. Actually, I should have looked through all the books because old people tend to keep money in books, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh, I should have flipped through them. They did have these pictures in there of Fred Trump.
Wow, okay.
And he's in the Oval Office too, I think, in that picture. Yeah.
Is that dude still alive?
I don't know how old this book is because this is whoever wrote this book says me in the Oval Office in 2017.
Huh.
So this book is somewhat more recent, and whoever wrote it about Fred Trump got invited into the Oval Office. Who wrote it?
Why do you think they threw it away? You think they hate him now or something?
Yes. It's a $30 book in the US. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to zoom in on it.
Hey, you can resell that thing on Amazon.
You probably could too.
Yeah.
I should have grabbed the rest of the books. I just saw that one. I was like, hey, it's Trump. I should pull this one out. That's Fred Trump. You ever heard that theory about Barron and Trump being time travelers through the book?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't know, but for the audience, tell us what the theory
No,
is.
you tell us what the theory is. It's
I
better to
haven't
hear
heard
from a Swiftie than a man.
I haven't heard that much about it. Just more so about like Baron being.
You really haven't heard anything about it?
No, I haven't heard much. I just heard something about Baron and time travelers.
It's about I'm trying to not mix it's a sequel, and I can't remember the exact words that they use, but essentially it's about a man whose name is Donald, and he lives in Times Square, New York, and becomes a millionaire and becomes president against all odds, and he gets shot in the ear, and then he survives assassination attempt,
What?
and he has a son, and his son's named Baron, and yeah, like it's crazy.
What?
Yeah, and in the book's written in like the 1720s or something like that. It's like super old. I don't know if it's really 1720s, but it's really old like that. And yeah, dude, it's the whole series on it, and it's just kind of a weird coincidence for this kid named Barrett, who has a dad named Trump, lives in Times Square, New York, runs for president, wins against all odds, and then survives assassination attempts. And then aliens come in and abduct all humanity in 2040. Facts.
Well, moving on to the next segment. I don't have much of a Cardano spotlight today. I'm I'm saving up for a good one. But
I could tell you Katana Spotlight.
huh.
It's right here.
Over here on Tap Tools says Justin Cardano has recorded the highest institutional inflows of any other crypto asset over the past month,
It's lying.
surpassing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And these are the month to date inflows. And this is because Cardano has been so undervalued lately. And look at the month to date, flows for Bitcoin are negative 826. This is institutional capital. Now, I don't know exactly which institutional products they're measuring in this particular chart, but they're using data from Bloomberg, CoinShares. And here's the takeaway from this is that, Cardano, if you look at the Cardano versus Bitcoin chart, um, Cardano goes, every 4 years on a massive uptrend against Bitcoin. And it has its day in the sun, and it's going to do that soon. The institutional money is coming into Cardano, worldwide. A lot of these I did read where, a lot of the sources that they're evaluating right here are ETPs, which are like the European versions of ETFs in the United States. Like they're already approving those products in Europe and stuff. And that these inflows are kind of front running a big move for Cardano this year. I believe they're front running a big move in price for Cardano this year, and we're gonna see Cardano do something really special. In the last run, Cardano actually moved at some really weird times where it wasn't necessarily like all of the altcoins were ripping at once. Uh, Cardano, for whatever reason, found its really own unique times in the 2021 market to rip, and I think it's going to do that again. I think that there's going to be a special interest in Cardano from institutions this year. I think it's going to get an ETF. That might be a long shot. It, you know, if it doesn't get an ETF, it will be because XRP was actually the only one to get an ETF. But outside of that, I do think Cardano will be the next one. And I also think that we're going to see, Grayscale already is applying for this large cap fund, ETF, crypto fund of large caps, and it included really just the same ones that we're seeing go into the U.S. Strategic Crypto Reserve, XRP, Solana, and ADA. And guys, we're going to see ADA in a class of its own along with XRP, Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and the other altcoins. As much hype as they might have around them, even SWE, I think that what
I'd say anything.
I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see SWE on a tier 2. I mean, I don't mean the gains that it puts up from the bottom. I just mean it's not quite going to be considered in the same reputable, authoritative class of assets as those other 5. So I think you have like the core 5 that are going to be in a class of their own this year. And I'm looking for Cardano to do big things. So,
There you
so
go.
that's a short Cardano spotlight this year or tonight, but yeah.
You know,
What do you think, or do you want to wrap us up?
I was going to show you something real fast.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like trading, I always love crypto bubbles. And it always kind of gives you pointers on areas to kind of start sniffing around for like trades. So you see something like grass, right? Where it's just kind of pumping and pumping and pumping. Well, it kind of is showing you that there's also, because it's pumping, you could look into it to see if it's going to keep going and possibly long it, or if it's something to short. And same with some of these red ones, like if pie has been dropping 34%, it's 15% for each day. Like for the month, it's down 69%. You can kind of see that you could almost short it anywhere, and you can make money on shorting it, as well as and go check it out, figure out why you're shorting. Like sometimes you don't really know where to look for trades, and crypto bubbles can kind of give you an idea. So like you got Atom at 7.8%. Well, there's a good chance that it might retrace back down to and retest these levels. Or you can go look at it and see if it's going to keep going. And it's kind of, you can look at coins quick, you know what I mean? So you could go in the top 200. Well, here you go. You got this meme coin right here that's down 15%. How likely is it going to go, and is it a safe trade to get into if you're going to short or long it? Say Super 9.8%, it's all red, Is it something that you can short? And I actually hold Super, so I don't short it, but it's a possibility of coins like AMP's up 10%. Why? Do you really think it's going to hold on to these gains right here on a wick like that? Probably freaking not. I'm willing to bet you could probably short it, at least until, let's see, on a longer time frame. Well, it's kind of crazy I actually made it to this level. I don't know. It's something that you could use as a tool to help you locate coins. Hey, here's Aerodrome, your favorite coin in the world, Trent.
It is
Oh,
not
look at
my
that beautiful chart. You should
it
go buy it right now. It's at an all-time low. This is a good time to buy it, actually.
is not my favorite coin, but man, I think you can make some money buying Aerodrome right now.
At 36 cents a coin. What did you buy it at? $2?
No.
You know what's crazy? The amount of people who were buying Aerodrome and couldn't see a double top from right here right here. And even this right here had a second double top to tell you, hey, get the freak out. It's about to take a giant poo poo.
Right. No, I was buying Aerodrome at like under 70 cents, but I moved out of it though. At a
Darknet's down 92% for the year. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, you know what we gotta do? We gotta add one coin to the crypto graveyard. What would you like to add?
Oof. Hmm.
You want to go? Want me to go back to the top 100?
Yeah.
Take a look. See, there's your Polygon.
Today's crypto cemetery.
We got Litecoin.
We already added Litecoin.
Lido DAO, Flare IOTA.
Oh, I think I see it. Click on Sandbox.
Is it green or red?
Red. It's up in the top right.
Down 56%. Whew. Yeah, but Sandbox has all its unlocks, and it's kind of like a Minecraft game. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it could have its resurgence. I
You
don't
know,
know.
I'm gonna add Dot.
We already added Dot.
Well, how you gonna do one a week?
Yeah, but we had that one episode where we did a big,
bunch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add Gala Games.
Ooh, that could. Uh,
You think it's gonna come back?
I mean, it could, or it could do like a flash in the pan sort
By
of.
the way, gold's at 3,100.
Nice. I almost bought a bar of gold from Costco.
Can we add optimism or no?
I don't know about that either.
I think
You
we
know what?
added because we technically already added it. I think optimism's dead. I don't think it'll ever come back.
I don't know, dude. Base is on optimism. I wouldn't.
I
Be so
don't
quick.
care.
He said, "I don't care."
No, I don't like it.
Uh,
Comp. That's a DeFi protocol. I bought comp at $700.
Damn.
Yeah. It was hard because we covered so many that died.
Maybe we have to start from scratch and go week by week.
That's what I'm thinking.
And we'll add Dot right now. We'll start from there. And we'll add one every week.
Dot, you're dead. You have been slain.
Yeah.
Slain
We need
by
like a sound effect for when
You've been slain by the brew crew. Peanut, you're on my next hit list. If you haven't been slain already. Too soon. All right, man.
We're gathered here today to commemorate the life and legacy of
Dude,
Polka Dot.
Exactly. There's no legacy. Well, let's call it a night. I think.
You give our final rating.
Oh yeah. You know, as a light beer at 4.9%, I will rate this triple horn Indian Session Ale at a 7.8. And it's pretty crazy because it's super light, but the flavor was fantastic. The aroma is pretty good, and it had a good pour. And I'm not going to judge it by its alcohol content. I would like to have a little higher. If it had a little higher, it would probably be in the 8 something or other. But yeah, it was a great beer.
Yeah. Foggier window. I've shown it before. It's not a hard one to get. They release it, several times a year, but it's solid. and it's just that right balance of everything that I want in a hazy IPA. I'm gonna give it a 8 even. So
Did you hear that ping?
that was my glass.
No, it was
Oh.
one of my alerts on
Oh.
Ada.
Oh no, I didn't hear it. Well, you want to sign us off?
Thank you guys for joining us for another wonderful episode of the Blockchain Brew Show. Smash the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you on the flippity flop.